Hey everyone,
Wah.
Matthew Whitrock, design lead for our newest set, which
Nah,
I'm
ini set
excited
10
to
nih.
introduce today. We're calling this set, drumroll please,
Hemogol 700 ya.
Remix Rumble.
Oh, tentang musik
We've
guys.
got a full playlist today, so I'll open with gameplay and then pass it to the rest of the lineup to chat music, cosmetics, ranked, and more. We'll also jump backstage at a few points to give you a behind-the-scenes look at how different parts of Remix Rumble came together. All right,
Oh, Remix Rumble.
let's jump right into the bands. And by
Namanya Remix
bands,
Rumble.
I mean traits.
Trade-nya nih. Udah keluar ya. Tentang musik-musik ya.
In Remix Rumble, you're the DJ, and the board is your turntable. By combining different traits, you'll create a medley of beats and genres. Let's start with familiar chart toppers.
Tentang
beginning with
beats.
the ultimate
Tentang
pop
musik,
stars,
anjir.
KDA.
KDA pertama guys.
Lobby bumping with KDA and their most dedicated superfans. Position them just so, and you'll find yourself at the performance of a lifetime, with incredible choreography and a bunch of bonus stats. Okay, let's make like a collie and hop over to the next band. True Damage
Ada True Damage, ada Pentakill juga ya.
and both stay true to their names. True Damage grants extra attack speed. Wait, that can't be right. This is more like it. True Damage members are all about style and will gain a unique bling bonus that'll power them up as you itemize them. Oh, and before you ask, Akali will be able to be played in KDA or True Damage. Her trait will change based on whichever band is trending at the time. All right, metalheads, Pentakill's up next. Pentakill members have damage reduction and bonus damage that increases as they score kills. And if your team
ini
manages to
Pentakill.
get a pentakill, then their bonuses will increase again. Just be careful in Yorick's mosh pit.
Soalnya kan ada Hard Steel ya, berarti harusnya ada Hard Steel ya.
Fresh
Oh,
off
Hard
their
Steel bener kan?
debut and already making their mark on the convergence. These guys are ready to bring the energy. And
Makanya
do
keluar
whatever
Hard
it takes for
Steel
their
guys.
fans. They may have started out underground, but they're certainly able to take you to the top of the charts and the lobby if you can conquer their risky style. But we can't put on a proper Remix Rumble with only 4 bands. We also have some all-new groups entering the convergence.
Ada
With
new
original
group juga.
TFT looks, Lulu and Ziggs make up the jittery, ridiculous, hyperpop duo Glitter Bomb. Speaking of original TFT skins, Remix Rumble has plenty. There's a whole new class, Superfans, who show off their
banyak
fandom
berarti ya.
style. The trait pumps up your headliner, more on that later, by turning one
Masih ada
or
Ari
more of
lagi
their
ya. Ari
items
kayaknya
into
langganan deh.
premium items. My personal
Ada
favorite
Brad,
new look is
Bart.
Bard, who has joined the jazz trio Free Flow. He and his
jazz
teams are
dia.
looking as smooth as they sound. Before I get into the mechanics, let's head backstage to learn more about how we made some of these traits with Alex Cole and one of our lesser-known devs.
Back at Riot.
We knew set 10 was going to be our big music set, so when we think back of kind of like what the steps were, we knew we were going to have this big music moment. We were celebrating 10 sets of TFT, which was going to be huge, and really we just kind of leaned right in and we were like, cool, we know we're going to do all of these cool origins, and then we go through the process of
Murder tuh gameplay director
that we
anjir.
can tie those to.
Tinggi juga berarti dia di Riot ya.
A ton of cool and groovy skin lines, and we obviously played with them a little bit with like Space Group becoming disco and some stuff like that, but
we
were pretty quick to just turn right in and be like, oh wow, we have tons of things to pull from, which is really exciting.
So I'm pretty excited about Heartsteel. The economy trait is always a fan favorite of ours, but we've had this problem for a long time where the economy trait is you get it at 2-1 or you don't really play it. And so this time we took a very clear goal of how do you play it if you don't hit it at 2-1? And so what you can do is you can play it at any point in the game, and the more you've got, the bigger the payout. You try to lose by just a little bit, but even if you win, you're still going to be getting those fan. And then it's going to cash
mainnya
out
main
after
itu ya,
turns.
lost streak apa
And
win
so you
streak
can
berarti harus
pivot
steal.
into it in the late game, and I think that's going to be a real skill expressive part of the game, is that ability to go, okay, I'm in a position where I can play hard
kayak siapa
and
ya?
then get my reward and then pivot back, and I think that's going to lead to a lot of really cool skill expressive moments.
My favorite trait this set is definitely the country trait, which features our Desperado band. historically in TFT, we've done a lot of really cool things with summon traits. We did Baron this last set, we did Innovator in set 6, and I'm really excited for Country to join those ranks. So with Country, we have something called the Midnight Horse, which is Hecarim, and when your
Midnight Horse.
champions sort of get lower or lose
The
health,
Hecarim, yeah.
Hecarim will ride in and save the day. So operating a little bit like Galio from set 4, if players remember that one. So I think the challenges with these two is we kept trying to find the identity for each of them, and they ended up being really intertwined with each other. So there was a day where myself, Whitrock, the set lead, and Mort literally sat down and mapped out the entire set on a whiteboard. I don't remember who
Nih,
it was,
HP kalian
but
kuat
it was
nggak
just
nih?
like, oh, we don't have a summon trait. And we kind of played around with that. And on the flip side, we were also playing around with, like, is it risky to have our econ trait be one of the main verticals? Like, is that something we want to do or try? Which is really exciting. And we ended up going with it and kind of seeing those two traits in particular, like, kind of kept going back and forth and changing shape with each other. But we were happy with how it all landed. Yeah, I would say it's pretty clear on this team.
Aing sih main
that's
versi
probably the
PC
biggest
biar
party
lebih
stand
jos.
around. So KDA being in the set is a huge, exciting moment for me.
Mekanik, the hit. Oke, ada mekaniknya nih. Mekaniknya yang mesti penting ya, soalnya pasti bakal beda ya mekaniknya.
Include in Remix Rumble, we wanted to bring you a greatest hits playlist from past sets, starting with Runeterra Reforged. Portals are
Oh,
making a
pakai
comeback.
portal lagi
They'll
bentukannya.
have a bit less impact than some of the wilder ones from last set. We can do without you, Stillwater Hold.
TV gue nggak
But they're
kelihatan,
sure
iya.
to continue creating memorable moments. We won't be bringing back Legends.
Oh,
for
Legend udah nggak ada?
We learned a lot from seeing how Legends could influence the meta and individual enjoyment of the set, so we feel like there's more exploration and experimentation to be done in this space before we potentially revisit it, but we'll keep you updated along the way. Okay.
Oke, Legend udah hilang ya, Legend ya.
Are bringing back. One of TFT's most beloved mechanics is returning in an updated way. No, not augments, although we will be introducing new augments to
Oh, ada
Remix
new
Rumble
augment?
as well. I'm talking about headliners, our fresh take on the chosen mechanic from Fates. Headliners are the star of your board. They appear occasionally in shops.
Oh, ada
and are
headliner.
purchased at 2 stars. Headliners have tons of immediate power, and they give you +1 to one of their traits.
Plus
Here's where
one.
headliners diverge from chosen. Each one will have a specific headliner effect that empowers them in a way that only a true fan would appreciate. Take Bard from the Jazz Trio, who improvises a few notes to either heal an ally or
dia
deal
bisa
a bit
nge-heal,
of
Bard.
damage. When Bard is your headliner, every 10 casts will generate a meep that allows him to play 1 extra note on his first cast of combat. Bard is the type of headliner.
Berarti kalau headliner tuh kayak punya tambahan skill ya.
Whether that scale is major or minor, it depends on how early you can get it. Some headliners will be difficult to find endgame carries. Take Yorick, a legendary unit who temporarily summons ghouls. When this headbanger is your headliner, the ghouls will be bigger and deal more damage. And one more thing about our mechanics. All of them will be harmonizing together. So keep an eye and an ear out for that. All right, let's check back in with Alex and Mort to talk more about headliners.
Berarti mekaniknya tuh yang terbaru adalah
So early
headliner.
on, when we were exploring the different mechanics, we knew we were doing a
Tapi
music
pernah
theme.
dipakai di set
And
lain
so
ya,
we
di
kind of
Fate
had
ya.
this image where it's like, okay, the band is all on there together, but what is it that makes it special? How can we twist it? And we kept coming back to it's like, well, who's singing at the moment? Who's the star of the show, if you will?
Jadi kayak headliner
And
tuh
that
yang
kinda led us
penyanyinya
to
gitu ya,
a system we
star
call
dari band
headliner,
kita gitu ya.
which
Jadi
was
kita
okay,
tuh
you're going to
disuruh
pick who
bikin
your
band ya.
headliner is. And we kept coming up with versions that were slightly different than Chosen, but had a lot of the same advantages. Chosen was one of our first big mechanics that wasn't just like galaxies or a variation. And it was something that allowed every champion to kind of be the centerpiece, right? Like you would tell stories of, oh, this was the game I got Silas chosen, and I did this thing, or this was the game I got Kennen chosen. But what was interesting is as we were kind of researching it, we realized that was before a lot of these other mechanics, right? Augments hadn't been around. And so a lot of the burden of the system has changed. And so as we were looking at this and kind of seeing all the pieces come together, it felt like kind of a greatest hits of TFT, which once we realized that was such a great opportunity to bring it all together, And so that's when we've kind of anchored on headliner being sort of the upgraded chosen. You know, we've got radiant items, augments,
Oh, ada
portals,
latihan.
and
Oh,
it
ada
really does
augment.
sort of feel like 10
Ada
sets
portal-portal
worth of
juga ya.
TFT knowledge all coming together to make this really awesome set.
I think with the headliner mechanic, players will be most excited about the champ fantasies that it unlocks. So whether you are a player that really loves re-rolling those 1 or 2
ada Iloi.
costs, or you're a player that likes those 4 cost carry fantasies, headliner allows you to do any
Ada
direction you want.
Raven,
every
ada
game, and unlocks a lot of
Caitlyn ya.
variation, which is exciting. These are things that we never predict coming in. Like, what is the built different comp of this set? Like, what are the combinations that we, during production, have no idea are coming, that we see videos of at 2 a.m. From China, and we're like, wow, that's amazing. I can't believe they came up with this idea.
Those cool combinations that keep you coming back and have an exciting payoff, I think is always what we're looking for when we're making new sets. It's like, what is the cool next thing to try out?
Music. Apa berpengaruh dengan musiknya?
Hey everyone, I'm Cole Hicks, lead composer of Remix Rumble, and I'm here to talk about the heart of this set, the music. In Remix Rumble, each trait brings new sounds to your board. While you're building your
new
team,
trait
you're building
membawa
your team.
sound yang berbeda, anjir.
Remix Rumble was an all-hands-on-deck moment for our team. Many different
Anjir, keren sih ini,
composers and
anjir.
collaborators created original music for each origin trait. And
Dan
made
kita
it
bisa bikin musik
possible for all of it
di
to
sini.
meld together in any combination based on whichever units you have out on your board. To make genres like metal sound seamless with, say, jazz or pop, we wrote 2 main songs. Through a mix of layers that contain drums, chords, and melodies, your track will be built alongside your team. And as the game progresses, your track will too.
Oh, ada Miss Proton.
Starting off one way during the preparation phase and building up to a more complex chorus for the battle. Let me show you an example of how
Oke, kita
all
bakal
this
kasih
will look
contoh
and
ya.
sound. Starting
Kayak
with
gimana
our disco
suaranya.
band, the Disco Knots. Their trait gives you a placeable disco ball that will heal your allies and grant them attack speed. As you get later into the game, you can add in more disco knots to strengthen the trait. Then you could add in a destructive splash of pentakill for a killer guitar solo, soaring
Tuh,
over.
suaranya beda, anjir, ada
Now let's
gitar-gitarnya ya.
talk a bit about the tracks we wrote. For groups like KDA and Pentakill that already exist in the League IP, we tried to capture their instrumental essence with some TFT twists. And we brought in new genres like 8-bit and country, but more on those later. We also made sure powerful units like Jin got their moment in the spotlight. For Maestro, Jin's legendary trait, we mixed in a Paganini-esque violin solo to create a modern
Oh, dia
interpretation of
main
classical
violin ya.
music, fit for the virtuoso himself. This sound was the perfect fit for a trait that deals extra damage to tactician health and a champion whose ability builds up in a cadenza.
Wah, keren sih ini Zilo.
By putting out different units on your board, you'll create a symphony of controlled chaos. Try combining the relentless drums of Pentakill with our harpsichord-heavy emo band, Big Sad.
Wah, Pentakill digabung sama
Maybe as your comp
emo ya.
changes, you'll create music that features the bass of true damage alongside the groovy horn section of disco knots. It's absolutely ridiculous, and that's just TFT. All right,
keren
let's
sih
head
ini si anjir.
backstage with the team
Kreatif
for a
banget ya.
recording session.
Kreatif banget ini yang namanya developernya, anjir. Emang dia tuh emang produser musik ya, ini fix ini.
Okay, cool. Yeah, let's move on.
Everybody's happy.
I think one of the challenges of working on this set is the multiple genres and how they're gonna be remixed into one another.
Bikin auto blader tapi niat banget, iya makanya sih lo.
10 to 12 genres, some of them more bespoke than others because it's based on our virtual band, but all of this are being done by 7 composers together. So this is the biggest collaboration within Riot composers that we have done for Teamfight Tactics.
Authenticity is both a goal and a challenge.
Emang
Because we're doing
Muntun
so
bisa
many
ngalahin
genres, and some of them have a fair amount of crossover.
Ini nggak
as
bisa,
far as
kayaknya
types
sulit
of
banget kalau
sounds and
Muntun
things
niru
that
ini
we're
sih.
using. For example, we're doing a DJ Sona genre, but we also have a straight like EDM genre. And so you almost have to really lean into the things that might be different about those two things. Like we have this established thing that Riot has done versus a genre that already exists, and really kind of leaning into some of the more expected things that players are going to want to be hearing.
How do we make it so that each of our elements actually stand out in a way that right away an
Tapi
audience
jujur
will
Aing
look
nggak
at,
terlalu
oh,
peduli
like they're doing
musiknya,
this punk
lebih
rock
pengen
thing
ngerasain
without
gameplaynya
getting it
aja.
confused with Pentakill, right? A metal band. They both use guitars, they both use drums, they both use bass. How are
Tapi mesti
those
gameplaynya
genres
berubah
being
sih.
executed differently and is able to be
Tapi maksudnya
recognized by
detailnya
our
itu
players right away?
KDA is
dipikirin
another
bener
example
gitu.
of like
Sampai
it's
musiknya
not
ganti
just what
juga
are the
gitu.
things that make it sound like KDA. It's what are the things that make it sound like KDA if just the drums are playing or if just the chords are playing. One of the cool things about this set is that it is supposed to be a bit crazy sometimes. So we were able to sort of like lean into it being like, oh, that sounds a bit silly, but it's
and some
kinda
surprising things came
Yeah.
out that were really cool. Like, for example, I think we discovered that saxophone solo over Heartsteel is very cool. We have also discovered that a violin solo on top of Jason's EDM track is very cool.
Very cool. And we would have never made those choices as composers.
Normally,
Normally,
right.
it's okay to lean into the silliness sometimes because it is a fun idea and it's supposed to be fun.
Right.
Whereas other genres obviously will work in a way where you're like, oh, that's like, I would put that on my playlist and listen to it.
Yeah. For us, the collaboration is a little chaotic, and I think that's also us embracing that energy of like, we're not entirely sure if this is gonna work, and we're just kind of, you know, like riding with the flow and write what we believe in, and then we come together and let's hear how this is gonna go.
TFT is the space where, as a composer, I get to play around the most and, you know, basically try whatever fun ideas I
Lama
have.
banget ya berarti
The
anjir.
team is very open to experimentation.
Videonya.
So from that perspective, even though it is a fair amount different than anything we've done in TFT before, I think TFT is the perfect place to do it. And I think the players of TFT are also really on board with these kinds of fun ideas.
100%.
New Arena and Tactician. Ini juga penting ya, arena baru sama
Hi
Tactician baru ya.
everyone, I'm Ananda Gupta, Design Director on TFT. Today, I'm here to give an update on
Lot lama
cosmetics,
ya.
and then I'll talk about Ranked, as well as a much anticipated release for many of our players, the Asia Pacific mobile.
Asia
We're
Pasifik
thrilled
kita
to bring
guys.
more high-quality personalization that will be released throughout the start of Remix Rumble. Ahead of that, we want to give you a sneak peek and equip you with an understanding of the release schedule, both to prepare collectors as well as inform folks who want to nab their favorite. Chibi set and
Chibi
Chibi
set.
Heartsteel set have entered the building, and they're looking to pull off a heist straight to the top of the lobby. Chibi Heartsteel set moves fast and will depart the treasure realms after the first 2 weeks of Remix Rumble. And if you want more, the KDA Arena is definitely more. Drop
KDA
your car
Arena.
smack dab in the middle of a KDA show and take top 4, or bottom 4. It won't matter with an arena this stunning. After 2 weeks, Chibi KDA Akali will screech onto the scene.
Chibi Akali.
Then, the moment I've been waiting for, KDA Kaisa will hit the convergence 3 weeks
KDA
into the
Kaisa.
She and KDA Akali will be available through Treasure Realms that will only last until our next event. Each drop will provide high-value content, from chibis to mythic little legends, and even a chance to hit a random chibi variant like Dragonmancer Ash or Star
Kita bisa
Guardian
dapat
Buff.
chibi.
But the biggest high roll of those collector capsules is KDA Kaisa. Kaisa is the centerpiece for players looking to flaunt that extra special drop. But Prestige Treasure Realms are full of high-value offerings from past sets. So, whether you're a collector looking to pick up something you missed, or a little legend enthusiast just getting your first chibi, no matter what you hit, it's bound to hit hard. After Remix Rumble ships, we've got even more work ahead of us. We know players want more say in what they purchase, and we're working towards exactly that in a system we're internally calling the Seasonal Store. We're not quite ready to go into the finer details yet, but I am ready to get into Remix Rumble's pass. Remix Rumble
Ada Remix
marks
Rumble
our
Pass.
transition to 3 sets a
Season
year,
Pass ya
and
ini
we're
ya.
updating our pass structure to reflect that. We'll still have 2 passes in every set, but since sets now last 4 months, each pass will be 2 months long. So, we're redistributing rewards and accelerating pass progression to make all the rewards easier to obtain. Not every pass will look the same. Each Pass Plus will have different high-value rewards. For example, you'll see our new Neon Stage Arena in Remix Rumble's first pass, and in the Rumble's second half, Sugar Cone Poro.
Sugar. Poro.
And just as our pass is changing to accommodate 3 sets a year, our ranked season is also changing.
Oh, rank juga berganti, rank improvement. Akhirnya Zilo semoga minusnya nggak
Like League of
gede-gede ya.
Legends, we're adding Emerald tier to our ranked ladder.
Oh, ada
We'll
Emerald.
add more climbing room, while also recognizing the skill progression that players show between Platinum and Diamond. This comes at the perfect time as we transition to creating 3 sets a year, and 3 ranked seasons to go with them. Without mid-sets, there's no soft reset of your rank throughout the season, so you'll have more time to track your progress on the
Oh, nggak
expanded
ada mid-set
ladder,
ternyata.
improve your skill, and get new Emerald rewards. We're not looking to make the climb harder. Emerald and a longer season should mean a smoother, more consistent climb overall. We know TFT is a more chaotic game than League, and we don't want to punish or reward you too much for performance outliers. You can play great and still low roll in TFT, and our ranked system should and will reflect that. Okay, before you
Oh,
get too
mobile
excited to
update.
queue up for ranked, let's chat mobile. The launch of Remix Rumble in late November will be the first time TFT is available on mobile in APAC regions. And we're shipping a number of improvements along with this launch that will impact the entire world. But first, I want to thank our APAC players for their patience. We've been working towards
Kelamaan
bringing mobile
anjir
to
ya,
you
tapi ya.
since we launched it during Galaxies, and we know that you've awaited its arrival ever since. In preparation for this launch, our tools and engine team has been hard at work making mobile usability, stability, and performance improvements.
Oh, dia
And
nggarap
for the tablet
performance-nya ya.
players out there, one of these improvements is tablet support. Come
Oh,
Remix
tablet
Rumble,
support.
you can say goodbye to the black bars and wonky scaling when playing on tablet, and hello to a smoother, prettier, tablet-tailored experience. We've seen a ton of anticipation for TFT Mobile in APAC and tablet support across the world, and we can't wait to kick it all off with Remix Rumble. So, APAC players, make sure to pre-register for our launch, as we'll be offering
Yo guys,
multiple
pre-registers
pre-registration
guys.
milestone rewards.
Gak dapat milestone.
Treasure tokens to a new
Uh,
little legend. Boba
dapat Little Legend tuh.
And if you're not in APAC, don't worry, this little sprite will eventually be available to everyone.
Minum boba.
Was that the last boba? Yep. Oh. Okay. Hey everyone, Sherman back to talk about all things TFT Esports.
TFT Esports and TFT Vegas Open ya. Besok Desember
It's
TFT
been
Vegas
awesome
Open.
to see the growth of TFT Esports over the last few sets. We've seen 3 sets of steady viewer growth for set championships, and with the Runeterra Reforged Championship, we're hoping to make it 4. We're about 5 weeks out from our first global LAN event, the TFT Vegas Open. It'll be from December 8th through the 10th.
Ayo
with
guys, ke Las
512
Vegas yuk.
competitors
Siapa
from
yang mau
around
ikut?
the world as they take over the MGM Grand. I first want to say that we were blown away by how quickly competitor passes sold out back in September, and we can't wait to see you battle it out there. The event happens early in Remix Rumble, testing players' ability to adapt, innovate, and lead the meta. This is a moment where players from anywhere can step into the spotlight and become IRL headliners. The player that comes out on top will walk away with $100,000, a trophy, and most importantly, the TFT Vegas Open title. And even if you don't get
Dapat
first,
$100.
the 128 players who make it to day 2
$100.000
will
ya.
win a piece of the $300,000 prize pool. And all 512 players who participate in the event will get a unique emote based on how far they make it into the tournament. But don't worry, the Vegas Open won't be a replacement for a championship. Now that we've switched over to 3 sets a year, we're adjusting to have a competitive season for each one. So rest assured there will be a Remix Rumble Championship at the end of the set. It'll be the culmination of Remix Rumble, so we have high expectations for the comps players will bring to the finals, now that they've had a chance to master the set. For those of you competing in Vegas, PvE goes live the 2nd week of November, so get out there and start
PvE-nya udah
crafting
bisa
your
dimainin
go-to
tanggal
comps.
16 November.
As for everyone else, we're super excited for our first ever
PvE-nya ya.
LAN, and we hope to see you all there, either in person or digitally. All right, thanks so much for watching. Good luck and have fun out there. Till next
Udah kelar
time.
ya. It's time to turu ya. Remix Rumble. Play now. Udah berubah ya jadi Remix Rumble ya.
Welcome back. This time around, though, to a very groovy stage because we're already mentally in the Remix Rumble. Life Q&A with, of course, more talk and
Ada
Bergabung.
Q&A,
I don't
tapi
think
gak
I
ikutan
need
lah
to
ya.
introduce
Thank you
you guys,
semuanya
but I'll
guys
do it
yang udah
regardless.
nonton dari jam
And to start
8.
it off right from the
Thank you
get-go, last
Zilo,
thing we heard
Aditya,
in
dan
that
teman-teman yang
video
lainnya. Saatnya
was
kita
from
tidur
Sherman
karena besok
saying
adalah
there
hari
will be
Senin.
a championship
Kalian
for
mesti
set 10.
melakukan hal-hal
Mort,
yang
what about 11
dia
and
harus
12?
dilakukan di hari Senin ya, kerja,
so
sekolah,
what
dan
we've definitely
lain-lain.
committed
Thank you,
to is
sampai
that
ketemu
there will be a
lagi di
championship for every set,
video
3 sets a
selanjutnya
year
ataupun
moving
live
forward.
stream
I think a lot of people
selanjutnya.
were concerned
Thank
when
you
we made
semuanya.
that swap.
Peace
You know, is
out.
it gonna go down to 2
Bye-bye.
championships? But nope. The plan is there will be 3 championships. Should be exciting and